Hello, I'm Ivan Makedonsky. In today's lesson, we will tell you about the white wines from the cross-border region Bulgaria and Greece, their characteristics, method of production, and approaches to serving them. This lesson will give you knowledge important for the sommelier profession and those working in the HoReCa sector. You'll learn how to build your skills and be better in this profession. This professional video tutorial for sommeliers was created under the project Agrotourism Business Academy, a system for supporting small and medium-sized enterprises. The project is co-funded under the program Interact 5A Greece Bulgaria 2020-2014 and the national budgets of the two countries. We wish you pleasant watching. We are starting with the first part of today's lessons, namely bottle presentation, demonstration to the guest and tasting technology. The organoleptic analysis, which is extremely important for professionals or sommeliers as well as for all wine specialists. Of course, the most important tool for any sommelier and specialist dealing with wine is our tool, the corkscrew. It consists of a cutter blade. Usually, these are the best screws. They have a second part, better for the professionals, a metal spiral. The most important thing is to show the bottle with the label toward the guest. It should not be covered in any way. After the wine has been approved by the guest, proceed to its opening. First, with the corkscrew cutter, remove the foil from the neck of the bottle. There should be no injuries. Everything should happen very cleanly to preserve the original image of the bottle. It should be as beautiful as it was before the opening. The bottle should not be rotated, neither moved. Here's a very easy way to get it out, and to be even more professional, this way. You can use a napkin to wipe the neck of the bottle before you move on to removing the cork itself. The corkscrew is held tight by placing the tip of the metal spiral in the center of the cork and starting to rotate the corkscrew up to a turn and a half of the spiral itself. It is important for you to stand this way, then diagonally across the chest. You pull the cork carefully without a crack or noise, and then you can help with your hand, and you pull very slowly without the sudden entry of oxygen in the bottle. You unscrew the cork, then wipe the neck of the bottle with the napkin. The first very important thing is to analyze the cork. Is there any elements or defects? We place the cork in a saucer, accordingly present it to the guest for his expertise. That is what well-opened wine look like. Without injury, the wine must be in good, merchantable condition. Then we continue with serving and wine tasting. We having already opened a bottle of wine, it is logical to start with the tasting itself, both for the specialist or sommelier and for the guest who will taste the wine. All these 6 wines of different styles and varietal composition, I will demonstrate how to do an organoleptic analysis, what to look in for wine, and the most important steps to follow to make a good tasting in front of the guest. Next comes the use of a wine glass. It is good to use a more classic glass that is suitable for both white and rosé wines as well as for red. It is good to have a good bowl space for good analysis. The wine glass is kept low down, no in other way, do not grab the bowl. You can grab it this way because human hand has about 36 degrees, and this changes the temperature of wine, which is in turn affects its aroma flavor profile. So we have the glass and the first wine. It is Bulgarian, then we will continue with the Greek one, and totally 6 wines. One is served with the label facing to the guest. This is very professional. So I'm showing this way. The first step in wine tasting is the eye or the color code of wine. What does it mean? It is what the wine tells us at first look. In this case, we will try white wines, and it is nice to find purity in the color. It can vary from light yellow, deep yellow, but there should be nothing additional that would turn out to be possible defect. So we first take the color of the wine. This white wine is characterized by light yellow sparkling color and light greenish hues. The variety from which the wine was created is Viognier, and the winery is Valley from southwest Bulgaria, the village of Smurchevo. After determining the color of wine, the aroma is checked, which is divided into first and second nose. The first nose is when we directly take the wine and smell it, and the second nose is when we swirl the wine in the glass. Swirling in the glass happens this way. And if we are beginners, we put the glass on the table and do this movement without it being excessive, and it doesn't look a bit ugly looking from side. The aromatic part, first nose, and as we said, second nose. And we have to determine the aroma profile. Basically, aromas are divided into primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary come from the characteristic of the variety and terroir, secondary from the fermentation process, and the third one, the most interesting for all specialists, sommeliers, and so on, is the tertiary, which are formed during aging and maturation of the wine. In this wine, we find floral tones characteristic for the variety of Viognier, fruit nuances such as ripe apple, pear, intense minerality influenced by the terroir because of the vineyard. Now we'll check its taste. Extremely elegant. In the taste, we determine the body of the wine. It is light or full, light to medium, and so on. And finally, the aftertaste, which determines the finish of a given wine. For a long and memorable aftertaste, we call the one that lingers for 30 seconds, 20 seconds for medium, and 5 to 10 for a short finish. In this wine, the body is light to medium, good intensity, good structure, preserved freshness, and overall with the aroma, which means that the wine is harmonious and elegant. The next one we will try comes from Greece, and it is 100% Chardonnay from Chateau Nicolas Zaridi. For this go, I'll pour the wine in the glass. And again, a familiar tasting scheme follows: color, aroma, taste, and aftertaste. Here the color is more intense, linked with the variety Chardonnay and the region itself, Drama, northeastern Greece. Light yellow in color with more golden hues, but not so green like Viognier. The aroma of the wine is more fruity, citrus aromas emerge here. Also lime, candied fruit that can be found very often in Chardonnay. The one is fine on the palate, pleasant, light to medium body, again good freshness, good structure, good acids. Aftertaste is pleasant with a memory of stone fruit. Also, almond, a well-balanced Chardonnay wine. We move to the next wine. It is Sauvignon Blanc of Damianica Winery, Bulgaria. And now I'll present to you its organoleptic analysis. Damianica is a winery that we can say that works in the lines of biodynamic agriculture. Light, pale yellow color of the Sauvignon Blanc, beautiful. You can use the word beautiful colors. Mineral tones stand out on the aroma. White flowers, herbal nuances as well, and stone fruits such as white peach, apricot. The wine is extremely fresh, pleasant, good acidity preserved, and the freshness comes from it actually. The aftertaste is medium, but it is very good for Sauvignon Blanc prepared this way. So it stands very well. An impressive Sauvignon Blanc wine. We continue with the Greek representative from the Wine Art Estate Winery. Here we have a blend of Sauvignon Blanc and the local variety Assyrtiko, the pride of the Greeks. Now we will make its organoleptic analysis and how it stands on the palate. It is very important to be careful with the amount of the wine when tasting. This is how it should be in your glass, so it's not drinking wine. The color of the wine is pale yellow with greenish and metallic shades as well here. On the nose it is quite floral and aromatic, fruity, herbal, and some lychee and mineral elements are detected here. Extremely harmonious. We use this definition when there is a good balance between the acids, aroma, and taste, aftertaste. So this is a good balance. We call it balanced as a professional term. The aftertaste is pleasant, short to medium. Very good blend covering the floral part and minerality, good freshness, a very good blend Sauvignon Blanc and Assyrtiko from Wine Art Estate from the region of Drama, the village of Adriani. The next wine that we'll present to you is from the southern parts of Bulgaria, the Melnik region, the village of Hrsovo, an orange wine. These are different white wines, more natural and slightly different technological processes, which we will find out about in the next parts and stages of these lessons of ours. The varietal composition here is from Sauvignon Blanc, leading variety, and Keratsudan. So we have a blended orange wine. So I'll serve in a glass and we'll take the aroma, taste. Here, as you can see already, when serving this wine, we observe a completely different color, much more intense, deeper, unlike the previous white wines that we tasted, where the color was lighter from the range of green or pale yellow. Definitely, the color here is amber yellow with beautiful copper tones. We'll take the nose, the aroma. On the nose there is softness, ripe yellow fruits such juicy apple, pear, pleasant veiled minerality, not like the ones before we tasted, light floral and herbal elements from the mountains mostly. The one is harmonious, balanced, good roundness in the body, but also good acids that create a feeling of freshness. It is not lost because orange wines are more intensive, deeper in body. The aftertaste is really memorable with a memory of yellow, juicy, ripe pear apple. A very nice wine indeed. And the last white wine from our selection from the cross-border region Greece, Bulgaria, as we said, is from Wines, a winery that is extremely young. Here the varieties are mainly Malagosiana, Sirtico and a little Vidiano. All local Greek varieties with which they are very well promoted though the world and the wine tourism. I'll serve it and we'll try it. Its color is a light yellow with light pale greenish shades. The aroma is extremely rich. Usually when we have such blended wines like Assyrtiko, Vidiano, Malagozia, the pride of the Greek wines, very floral, daisies, mineral, definitely the terroir has spoken here. It's worth. It's great. White fresh fruit, lychee. Extremely balanced. A very juicy and palatable wine. The body is medium, rather light to medium, I would say, with a pleasant finish, memorable, with a slight tartness. A wine of freshness, unripe fruit, and this makes it very suitable for different seasons. So this is the last wine that we made analysis of. And we'll continue to the second part, which will go to the technology base of the winery to see how the white wines are made. We are in the second part of our video tutorial on white wines, and for this purpose we have moved into the room where the magic of wine happens. Not only white, but rose and red. Of course, not known. White wines have one of the lighter and easier technological practices that can be carried out and applied because they happen in a slightly shorter period of time, but everything is very different according to the variety of specificity, according to the terroir and so on. A white wine can look two different ways, and why not many others? Again, we have to pay attention to the variety, terroir, and what practices the oenologist should apply. In general, the most basic is the use of these stainless steel fermenters, these inox vessels, but they alone are not enough if you want to make a white wine with more serious development potential, like what I am currently tasting. A very interesting Chardonnay, fermented and aged in oak barrels. In short, the technology of white wine includes first selection and choosing a day to collect the raw material, in our case the grapes, transportation to the winery, and possibly directly start the technological operations. Of course, the wine can be sorted into cold rooms, so-called refrigerator rooms, if the process do not start immediately. After that, the white wine happens when the crushed grapes get to a fermenter. Here is where the work of yeast, a vigorous alcoholic fermentation takes place, and a quiet wine respectively. The wine must be then removed from this vessel, and if we are to achieve a pure, fresher, more elegant white wine, our work all must be done within 2 days. if we don't want to make additional processing. However, if we want to achieve or the technologist decides to achieve a deeper, more complex wine product, then we can apply other winemaking practices in different types of vessels. In an earthen jar, a concrete vessel, or oak barrel, and others. In general, this ends the white wine technology itself, and some of other operations can be carried out, such as surely the aging of wine on wine sediments. The duration is determined for 6 or 12 months. Batonnage, stirring these fine sediments and elevating them so that the respective wine can improve its aroma, flavor profile and its body. Subsequently, the wine is taken out of the appropriate container and goes to the rest of the processes: filtering, stabilization, bottling, and reaching the end user. In general, we can get white wine within 2 days if we want to get a clearer, basic wine. White wines definitely deserve their attention. It's good to know that white wines can be very interesting in older vintages. The old ones deserve our attention. This is briefly the white wine technology. Here we are in the third part of our video tutorial related to the cross-border region of Bulgaria and Greece. This is probably the most interesting and exciting part of the lesson because it has to do with serving white wine and pairing with food. The essential part of the profession of sommelier, the so-called art. How to make good selection of right wine with the right food and create a real pleasure for our guests. How to serve the white wine. There are a few basic steps that we all need to follow in order to be good professionals at what we do. The main and the most important thing is to have a suitable glass for white wine, as each variety and each style of wine has a special glass for it. But if we go for the classic, this is a suitable option for white wines. The most important condition when serving white wine, as we all other categories of wine, is a limit from the rim of the glass. That's how. The rim of the glass should not be touched. When serving, we turn the bottle to remove the drops of wine and move to the next guest. The other very important factor when serving wines in general is the temperature of wines. In other words, tempering of white wine. Different white wines are served at different temperatures. We speak about style of wines. When we have, like in our case, many varieties and styles of wines, we have to choose the proper temperature. At a temperature of 10-12 degrees, denser white wines are more intense or older wines are served. We get a bit high temperature if we have older wines of 7, 8 or 10 years of age. If you have white wine which is fresher, we can keep a low temperature. We must be careful not to overcool, as this affects the aroma tasting qualities of the given wine. Therefore, it is desirable not to fall below 8-9 degrees for white wines. White wine served at the table should be left in a cooler champagne bucket with a napkin near the table or aside the table so that it is convenient for service. Once a wine, whether white or not, is opened, corked or not, it is never closed again. It is left aside, it is given to the guest to taste, and they set aside. This again is valid for all categories of wines. They are the most important steps when serving wines. Of the details that are necessary to combine with wine food, in the case white wine, we must consider the following aspects: the style of the wine, the place it comes from, and the place of origin of the foods themselves. This is the so-called terroir combination. Another rule is the color code of wine, lighter shades and tones in the color of wine, food that matches this, lighter in colors food. This is to some extent extremely subjective due to the fact that gastronomy has been constantly changing in recent years, and really white wines, especially those that are more mature and older, can easily be combined with foods and dishes for which until recently it was thought to be wrong. What we are currently demonstrating to you as food combination for white wines is a fish with a side dish, sauce, and separately different types of cheeses, dairy products. These are some ideal options for white wine company. What else should we keep in mind? We have to consider whether the white wine has more freshness, acids, with lighter body, or vice versa, whether it is denser or not. These lines are one of the most important components that give us a good guarantee of pairing wine and food. In our case, with white wines from Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Malagousia, and other such varieties, we must consider the style of the wine and combine with the specific type of cheese. For example, a cheese with a higher fat content, denser in texture, should be paired either with the same wine that matches its density, or we should look for more lightness, more freshness in the wine. This second option is more difficult because we are looking for a counterpoint. However, at the expense of this, namely this wine, good gatherings are some of the most interesting ones. Another important step is the body of the wine to the density of the dish. Now, the most important thing is not the main product on the plate, but what surrounds it. Or if we have white fish, as it is in our case, it is important, but we have to pay attention to the sauce, garnish, and spices. They will be our hooks to grab and make such a combination that will be a feast for the palate. Cheese, fondue, and the like go well with white wines. In this case, orange wine of Villa Melnik can easily be combined with the fondue of these cheeses. It will both be terroir, use the local product, and show in our case the local Quertudo variety. This is really a line that shows the right way to a good pairing of wine and food. Experiment, sample, taste, and this will lead you to a better decision and choices of wine with the right food.